Hey, what's up? Well, I'm making a video and I hope that it will work out okay. And, just a number of things I'd like to cover in this video. Um, let's see if I could ever find it. I'd like to do an update on something. Um, Remember the doll? I'd like to update on a doll that I was going to make, or let's see, where's my, oh yeah, remember the hair that I got from TEMU? Um, that long, pretty blonde hair. Well, what I wanted to do with it is, you see these dolls? And I'm really not wanting the whole thing to come out, but, basically, Toy Century, I think it was, yeah, Toy Century Industries or something, made these dolls, and that's what I love about the company, is that they were one of the few doll companies like Kidcore to make dolls in varying sizes. Okay, and these ones are like the Todd and Stacy size, which I really didn't know it when I bought this doll. And what happened was, see, this is the Skipper size, about 8.5 inches, which is extremely rare. There are just not a lot of 8.5 inch dolls. They tend to either be 7.5 or 9.5. But this one is a very rare 8.5 inch doll. And as you know, I have a weakness for dolls of unusual sizes. And, so these are special. And this is, many years ago, I bought a redhead and a brunette in a set, and they were both 8.5 inches. And I just always wished I had a boy and or a blonde, because I'm always looking at the gaps, thinking, what don't I have, and what could I do to have it? Well, these dolls, what appealed to me was the unisex look of their clothing. They were like in a set. And this one, I thought was like this one. But when I got her, I realized that she was a little sister. And she was red hair. She was identical. And what happened was, the hair wasn't, well, none of their hair is the best quality. And so I plucked her scalp. And my original plan, my mom didn't really like this when she saw the finished product, was going to make like a blonde Todd, so that I have a boy and a blonde. Well, I decided that that didn't really look all that great, because she was just too feminine to look good with a buzz cut. And I feel like I have too many buzz cut dolls anyway. See, this one has some sort of a curly hair glued to his head. He was a girl with long hair, and he had the same kind of outfit going on. And so what happened was, I decided to get that blonde hair, and I rooted it. And you can't see that, but in there is a ponytail about, see, you can see the scrunchie. I don't want to pull out the ponytail. It's about an inch down her back. And what I was really going for was a doll that was, a blonde boy, sort of like Macaulay Culkin. And that's what I really wanted in my heart of hearts. But since her lips are way too red and pretty, and I'm not going to remove her eyelashes, I figured it could be a girl that's a tomboy. And so, with that in mind, I wanted the doll to have longer hair. And so I rooted it to the best of my ability with this stuff. I was just tired of having a doll with a painted head. See, what happened was, we were about to move to Texas not long after I got that doll, and so I just left it as a painted scalp doll. And, so she looked like either a boy with a shaved head or a girl that had cancer, and I didn't like that very much. So the original plan, I was going to flock the head, but then I just decided that was too out of character, for a doll that will never stop looking like a girl in the face. And so I thought, rooting the hair, from the front, it can look somewhat like a boy with a ponytail. See, it looks like he got his head shaved around a ponytail at a salon. And if it just looks like a girl who did the same thing, well, oh well. But the underside I didn't root because it's too hard to do it. It's hard enough to do, to put hair plugs in the holes up there, but on the underside of the head it's even harder. So I left it looking like a shaved head underneath a ponytail, a kind of a short ponytail. So I still somewhat want it to be a boy, because it has the least amount of breast development. The others have bigger boobs, is why they don't make good boys. So it's kind of a little brother of sorts, in a series that didn't really have male dolls at all, and certainly not among the children. Well, I don't even remember seeing knockoff Kens in Toy Century. But, so yeah, there's my doll, and the names that I've chosen for them, I want them to kind of go together. This one, I'm calling her Gail, Gail, like Crystal Gail. This one, I'm calling her Kale, Kayle, because it's an Irish name it's supposed to be Cale, and it's supposed to be masculine, but it can be unisex. And this one, I'm calling Dale, Dale. So Gail, Kale, and Dale. And you might say, well, that's a girl doll, and Dale is a boy's name. Well, actually, Dale can be unisex as well. So 3 dolls with rhyming unisex names that could all be girls. If you refuse to see this as a boy, Dale can be a girl's name. And what makes them special, let's see, where did I put it? I was gonna show, hold on. I was gonna show what makes them special, you see. They have like sort of mom dolls of sort, and that shows you how they're 8.5 inches as opposed to 11.5, and that's what makes them very special to me. And so yeah, we're in September, and I finally got around to, among the many other things I have to do, I got around to finally rooting Dale's hair. And my mom had the audacity to say that it looked like a dyke. She's very loose with that word, and I really hate it because, as I've talked about before, I may have hidden that video, which is what I'm doing to a lot of my more embarrassing older videos. Female sexuality is largely a myth. And yeah, I think that's very rude and insulting to call it a dyke. Number one, I mean, the word shouldn't apply, to a doll that's supposed to be a child under age 10. A little child doll is not a dyke. And also, really, I mean, grown women, as I've stated before, women don't really have a sexuality. Women who are butch or masculine are not really motivated by sex. As I've stated before, it's more like the lack thereof, It's more of a means to an end. But, it's just ridiculous. I mean, because a doll with short hair, first of all, I mean, what I really wish is that the doll could have my exact hairdo. And my hairdo does not make me a dyke. For one thing, when attracted to someone, it was a male. I'm really not attracted to women in the first place. Number two, I'm really more asexual than anything. I have no real sexual, I don't have any sexual needs. To be blunt, I don't have any unmet sexual needs that another person needs to fulfill. Thank you very much. And so, to call the doll a dyke because it has a hairdo that is longer than my own, on me that would be hair down to here in a ponytail, shaved under on the underside. Um, but I think it's pretty impressive. For me to put that much work into such a cheap doll, to create the illusion of it being different from this one, I think it's pretty admirable. And I don't see it as a dyke. I see it as a little girl or a boy, it doesn't really matter, that got a hairdo that involves shaving underneath a ponytail. And it is a real technique. They do it in barbershops, they do it in salons, they do it wherever they have someone willing to do it. And it probably wouldn't work out with my hair because I'm losing a ridiculous amount of hair every time I wash my hair. I get a big old wad of hair that wants to go down the drain, but I'm aware of it because we have a drain catcher. I mean a hair catcher and a drain. We have a different kind of drain. And so, no, the doll isn't a dyke. And I'm glad we're in September. And I'm glad the project worked out, to some extent. It could be a little boy like Macaulay Culkin with red lips, or it could just be a little girl that's a tomboy. I guess it's ambiguous. And at that age, of course the doll isn't going to have genitals. And that's what I don't fully understand. I don't see why, it's a shame, that's why we can't have more boy dolls. Because people have to always make something sexual out of them, like as if a doll has a sexuality, like as if even a real child that age would have a sexuality. But I just see dolls as kind of like a 3D art form, and I like having the variety of, dolls that would be 2 foot something, dolls that would be 3 foot something, that little Dale character, dolls that would be 4 foot something, and of course the adult size that would be 5, I guess. Well, they're not a full 5'9", they'd be more like 5'7" or 8. So like the variety in sizes and genders and ages. But a doll does not have genitals. And so at the age where the genitals are really the only thing you look at a child and that's about all that you can tell, as a boy or a girl about them. So a little boy doll is not going to look that different from a little girl at that age. And so to read into it that it's homosexual or a dyke or anything like that, well, no. A real person at that age does not have asexuality. And so in my mind, I just see it as a doll, with a shorter, more masculine looking hairdo than his sisters or her sisters, whichever one you see it as. But no, I see it as a doll of an innocent child. And even a real person, having a hairdo that passes for the opposite gender does not make them a homosexual or a fag or a dyke or anything of that nature. Well, really, only the person can tell you what they are sexually. And in my case, I'm asexual, but well, I'm not even really sure, but I don't really have sexual needs. I don't look to other people to gratify me in that way, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I don't use my body as a way to manipulate people to do things that they don't really want to do. Such as go to work every day and provide for me. Well, really, I don't have to because I have my dad. But I think it's actually a noble thing that I don't have a sexuality per se. And I can actually enjoy other things, songs that are not love songs, which is what I'm releasing. And, instead of being interested in sex, I'm more interested in, developing skills and, actually doing other things. So yeah, That's how my hair project turned out. And I'll go ahead and post this video.